Hey everyone, this is T-Lore. This week we're going to be talking about things a little bit differently. Instead of specific combos to break the game, I'm going to start going over some different crew options that you may want to consider to give you different benefits. So today I'm going to talk to you about extra actions and free actions and ways that you can optimize your ship to be able to get the most out of every action that you give it. So, pretty familiar cards would be like Explorer and Captain, generic crew, that allow you to get extra abilities out of every action that you spend. So, Explorers are great for treasure runners because you can dock and explore a wild island using the same move action. Now, this doesn't let you explore other ships or give other explore actions. There are free actions, such as if it's an island you've already marked as explored, but this is a great way to spend a point to cut down on how long it takes to get treasure from an island. You also have for gunships the ability to move and shoot using the same move action. And this allows you to move whatever your distance is, and then as soon as you're in range, you can fire your weapons. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of other lesser known ones, starting with what's known as a reverse captain. That allows you to, after you resolve a shoot action, you may move as a free action. Now there's even crew, like Jack Hawkins, that allows you to move and shoot using the same move action, and after this ship resolves a shoot action, she may move as a free action. Now, you might think that allows you to move, shoot, and then move, all with one action, but in fact it calls it out in the rules very specifically that you can do either or. You can move and shoot, or shoot and move. So if you have an extra action, you can move and shoot, and then use your second action to shoot and move. Now, you'll notice that the point cost of Captain is 3 points, and the point cost of the reverse Captain is 6 points, which also lines up with this 9 point having both of them. Now, in reality, the 6 point ability to move after you shoot is hardly worth it. Especially since captains are half the cost, and being able to move after you shoot really is not going to necessarily put you out of range of somebody else with a captain. So in general, just stick to captains and find other ways to get extra actions, especially since these don't really stack. Now, that's all shooting, but there's actually a couple of ships in Spanish Main, and actually one in Fire and Steel, I believe, that when this ship sinks another ship, you may repair one of this ship's masts. And so that's essentially a free repair action. It's not called out as a free repair action, but a repair action lets you repair a mast. So this is a pretty rare ability, and you can see that it's actually not very expensive. If you figure this is a very average ship, it's actually almost free. 3 points per mast, and you end up with 0 points for this ability. It's only on a couple of ships, so in order to really utilize it, you would need to either copy it or really outfit this ship, and with such a low point cost, you're not going to be able to put a lot onto this ship. But it's a fun one to be aware of. I've used it a time or two to fun effect to be able to bulk the ship back up, and it's also fun to copy it onto a larger ship and just get some extra damage out of it. Now, this one's a little bit different. I'm putting a Marine out here because it's not so much an extra action or a free action, but an independent action. So you can move and explore and all of that, and then your Marine is separate from your ship, so you can give them an action even after you move if you don't have a captain or anything like that. So this is a great way to get a few extra shots off, independent of your ship's ability, just being able to use Marines on your ship. Now, they're pretty expensive for a 2L cannon, and a Musketeer is a 3S cannon. So take that into advisement, and then not all factions have them. So pirates have a good number, but it can be tricky to get more than 1 or 2 out into your fleet, with expensive as they are. So those are all the free actions that you can get. But really, I think the important part is to start going through extra actions. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to get extra actions, and you can only get 1 extra action via any source to a ship per turn. So you get your natural base action, and then it's hard capped at 1 extra action. The free actions that we went over before don't count towards that. So you want to be able to combine these free actions that you get with the extra actions that you can get. So for starting off with 3 points, once per turn you can roll, and on a 5 or a 6 you can give the ship the same action twice. Now, for a ship with a captain on it, that's a move and shoot and a move and shoot. You can choose to move 0 distance so that you get 2 shoot actions out of it. So this is a great cheap way to get a chance of getting extra actions on the ship. So 1 in 3 chance. If you have a reroller, you can make that probability a lot better. But that's an additional 3 points on top of this. So this is a great entry into getting extra actions on a ship. Now for 5 or 6 points, this one happens to be 6, but there are a few that are 5. You can roll a d6, and on a 5 or a 6, it can be given an extra action. So notice instead of a 3-point cost, we're now up to 5 or 6 to be able to be given an extra action. So this could be useful if you need to do a move and then an explore, or a shoot and then a move, and you don't have quite the right crew. But keep in mind, having a captain will do this a lot more cost effectively, and you're not really improving your roll. You're still looking for a 5 or a 6. So this gets to be a little bit more expensive. And then for 6 points, you can get what some refer to as the Admiral's action, and you roll on a 6. Any ship in your fleet may be given 2 actions. So this is good to keep off of your front ships because it really doesn't have to be there, and you can give it to any ship in your fleet. Now, this is 1 in 6 turns you're going to be getting an extra action, so it's really not something that you can rely on too heavily. Now, there is one crew that allows you to actually donate your action. So Lord Micron is an English crew that has to have some other English piece in the fleet, and instead of giving this ship an action this turn, you can give another ship in your fleet 2 actions. So this is a guaranteed ability as long as you sacrifice the action of the ship that it's on. So you could put this on a couple point ship at your home island, throw on something like Robinson to break the point limit, and then use your limit crew of Administrator Brantley to give you plus 5 points. And so you end up with quite a bit on one little tiny ship that all it does is sit at your home island and donate actions to those ships and the rest of your fleet. Now, you saw how I coupled this with a sacrifice captain in an earlier video to be able to really buffer out how many actions you can get guaranteed every turn. This can also be used in combination with some of these rollers to be able to roll on your individual ships, and then any of those that miss, you can then give the guaranteed action to. Now, this is 6 points, so it's the same cost as some of these others, but you also have to make sure that you're willing to sacrifice the ship that it's on. And there's only one, so you're not going to be able to do this a whole lot. Now, the last other one that I'm going to talk about here is Sacrifice Captain. Now, you'll notice that this has the Captain ability, which is 3 points, and then eliminate one of the ship's crew to give her an extra action as 2 points. And then this is a standalone crew with the Sacrifice ability for 3 points. So it costs somewhere in the 2 to 3 point range. But the extra cost that you do have to add in is you've got to have crew on your ship that you're willing to sacrifice. So that's either 1 point per oarsman, or you have some other crew on there that you use up and are willing to sacrifice. Now, you cannot sacrifice ransom crew, which those are your linked free rerollers or your plus 5 point crew. Those are not eligible to be sacrificed, but you can sacrifice anything else. And like I said in one of my previous videos, I went over how to make sure you get enough crew to be able to work with guaranteed actions and being able to sacrifice. But in general, you can assume that you're going to add 2 to 3 extra points just to have some low point cost crew on your ship to sacrifice when you need them to give you those extra actions. And then finally, we have All Powerful. Now, this has limit, which means that it's going to make it so that you can't use any of the other limit crew, such as copiers or plus 5 point crew. But this is a guaranteed action, sort of. So on a 1 through 4, you're going to give this ship an extra action. So you're going to want to make sure it's on one of your lead ships. On a 5, you can give any ship you control an extra action. So that's that Admiral's action standalone portion. And then the portion of it that can really be interesting more than game winning necessarily is on a 6, you may give an enemy ship an action. Now, there's quite the breakdown in the rules on what you can and can't do with that. But for the most part, I would say just refer to the rules with what's allowed with that. But if it's face up and it's a standard action. That's something that you can do. So for this one, you would just give a shoot action or a move action to an enemy ship, and it would really change the swing of the battle, but you can't count on that with it being a 6. Generally, this is just going to give you an extra action. Now, the thing to note is the costs of all of these. So if we go back to same action twice and kind of lay the rest of these out here, you can see that you're going from 3 points for same action twice that'll cover you most of the time to 12 points that you're going to get an extra action, and it's any action of your choice essentially. So there's quite a big point swing. Generally, if you're willing to and are able to, just stick with the 3-point same action twice. The move action is really going to be the strongest ability, and if you have a captain on there already, that's going to lock in the ability for you to be able to shoot as well when you roll this extra action. If you need guaranteed actions, you're going to have to go with sacrifice captains, pay a little bit more, or Lord Micron at 6 points and plus the ship cost to get you those guaranteed actions. Or you throw on some re-rollers that are helpful for cannons and any other abilities, and those can help buffer your odds of getting those extra actions. And I'll talk a little bit about re-rollers in a later video, since there's several different kinds. But I wanted to give you a good overview of the different kinds of extra action crew, as well as don't forget about all those free actions. So if you can get an extra action and stack it with your free actions, you can get quite a bit in one turn. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of something interesting. So if we go to HMS Gallowglass, so you can get a free repair action. You can shoot with your Marine. You can dock at an island. And you can shoot a nearby ship. All in one move action. So you've moved, docked at an island, explored it, shot at a nearby ship, sank it, repaired a mast, and then you can shoot again with this Marine. That's all with one action. And then you can throw on something like Sir Christopher Mings to give it the same action twice and be able to do that all over again. Now, I realize this is totally impractical. You've broken point limit and cargo limit and everything, but I did want to display that it is possible to get several different actions all in one turn based on how you stack the crew up. Repair, shoot, explore, and move. And then you can do all that again if there happened to be some way to do that with your move action. So just thought that was kind of interesting. Let me know if you have any other questions or interesting combinations. I don't think I went over every possible crew ability. There is one sea monster that lets you give a move action to another sea monster, and some of those more niche capabilities. But for now, these are the best one crew that you can put on your ships to give you extra abilities.